Hey, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, I'm honored to feature Ferguson Wellman Capital Management, and I've got Jason Norris with us today. Hi, Jason.
How are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing terrific. I'm really excited to help share a little bit about the organization, the services that Ferguson Wellman offers, but I'm really excited to share about you, Jason, a little bit about your background and some of the people that make this team so valuable to its clients. Jason, these chamber check-ins have been great ways of sharing our members' stories, their origin stories, right? Their products and services. And I was just talking before we went live. It has been since March of 2020, twice a week. We're heading into almost our fourth year with these, and together almost 450 chamber members we've featured, and hundreds of thousands of views. And thank you for taking your time today to help share the Ferguson Wellman story.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, let's start out with you, Jason. Tell us a little bit about your background and story and history of work that led you into the financial industry. I know you're an Idaho native, so let's start there.
Yeah, so I grew up in Boise, went to Centennial High School, and went to Boise State. And it's really interesting. The reason I wanted to get into investments was because of my dad. And when I was in grade school, he bought my brother and I one share of four different stocks. And it was up to us to invest in that. And, that got my taste for the markets. And after graduating from Boise State, I went on to Notre Dame, got my MBA, and that solidified my view that I wanted to get into investments. And I was fortunate enough to go to work at Morgan Stanley, which back at that time was Dean Witter. Some people may remember that name, in New York City. And it was a wonderful experience. I just got married. I married my high school sweetheart. She went with me, and we were having a young family. And, working in New York City was a wonderful, wonderful experience. But the work-life balance wasn't working for us. And so I had a classmate from Notre Dame who said Ferguson Wellman's looking for an analyst. This was 2000. And I responded to him, and I responded to Ferguson Wellman, and had a couple of interviews. And 6 months later, we were in Portland, Oregon. And it's been a great move. And we really enjoy it. And the benefit of getting back to the West Coast is I'm able to serve clients in Boise. We have a lot of clients in Boise. My family is still in Boise. So, we are there quite a bit, seeing family, servicing clients. So even though I don't physically live in Boise, it is still my home.
Oh, wow. What an incredible story. I love that your dad believed in you guys and gave you a little taste for trying to earn your own money and play with the market. I like that. I'm going to try that with my kids. I think that's a great idea.
No, it's great. Unfortunately, I had to sell those stocks to pay for my wedding and honeymoon, but it is what it is. It still was a great experience.
So it worked out, right? That one share turned into. That's not a bad story. Help me share, Jason, a little bit about the Ferguson Wellman about us, the origin story. I know it's a 50-year customized investment and wealth management company. Tell us how that started, how and why.
So back in 1975, Joe Ferguson and Nora Wellman, they worked at a brokerage firm, and they decided at that time is that they didn't want to, get paid on commissions and trading, and that they wanted to manage money, fee-based service. And so they left. The funny story is their first two employees were their wives, unpaid. And they just put a shingle on and started the company. And the one thing they did that I think makes us really different is they gave their employees ownership. They just weren't the key owners. As they grew and hired people, everyone who works at Ferguson Wellman has the opportunity for ownership. So over the course in the 70s and 80s, and as we've grown in the mid 90s, when Joe and Norb were looking to retire, they could have sold to any bank, any other company, but they chose to sell internally to 5 partners of theirs, and that has continued. And I think that's the one thing that's different is we have 60 employees, but 40 of us are shareholders, and we remain independent. And that is, it's hard to find companies like that, especially as you grow. Ownership is so important for us. And there's a mantra: you treat the car you own better than your rental, and that's our belief. And so we started at 0 in assets under management. We're at $8 billion now, and we are continuing to grow, and it's really exciting. But I think the key, what differentiates us as a firm, is that broad ownership rather than just having 1 or 2 people own the entire company.
I get the opportunity to meet with a lot of businesses, and the businesses that I love hearing about are those ones that started 50, 40 years ago, bootstrapped in their garage with their families, and look what it's turned out to. It's those humble beginnings that really can propel our mission and vision and elevate that. And wow, congratulations on all the success with Ferguson Wellman. And obviously that's because of the success of your clients, right? And I think that's important to say as well. I think doing the right thing when no one's looking is something that needs to continue, right? I love that. Okay, Jason, tell us a little bit about, let me check my notes here, about your role. What are some of the services that you provide? What's your title, and what are some of your expertise that you provide?
Yeah, so I'm a principal in our firm, and that's just a fancy way for saying I own more than 5% of the company. But my main role is investment research. And so I'll take a step back to tell you exactly what we do. We manage money for high net worth families and institutions, primarily foundations and endowments, and we buy individual stocks and bonds. So we do research on all of this, and we have a great investment team, and I am one of the leads on that team. And I started at the firm 22 years ago as an analyst, picking stocks. That's what I love doing. Like I referenced, that's my dad got me started in that. And then as we've grown and just taken on more responsibility. So we initially did institutional money, endowments, foundations. Our first client in Idaho, one of our first clients, was a community college in Twin Falls. And so those were the clients we were servicing. And then those board members and trustees on these foundations and endowments liked what we did and wanted to hire us. And so we've grown from primarily doing institutional endowment money to high net worth families. And so with that, we've had expertise in investment management, but also we've had to grow our financial planning and wealth management expertise, because an institution doesn't need to run a retirement plan to see if you can afford to retire. And so over the last 10 years, we've really bulked that up. So when I work with clients, I focus on the investment side, and I have a colleague where we service as a team who focuses on the wealth planning and wealth management side. So we have a lot of great people here. So we work with both families and institutions, but it's a team environment. You don't hire me. You hire 60 people at a firm, and you're getting that full horsepower. And that's key. And so I think that's helped, our longevity is what we can offer our clients. And it's really interesting. The one thing, we get pushback, you're too expensive. Why shouldn't I just buy a Vanguard index fund? And the one thing is we believe we're an insurance policy. when the market is going down 20% and people are panicked during COVID or doing whatever and want to sell everything, that's where we earn our stripes, is to, it's staying in the market, knowing your objectives, and knowing that if you're in there for a 15 to 20 year time horizon, then you can't time the market. You get to spend time in the market. And so I think that's what I think beliefs sets us apart, is our communication to our clients.
Jason, how long have you been with Ferguson?
2001. So 22 years now.
Wow. And the company's almost 50 years old. You've been there almost 22 years. Wow, that's incredible. And 60 folks that are part of the organization?
We have 60 people. It's when I started in June of 2001, there was about 26. So we've grown. We've been fortunate enough to increase the number of clients every year. Assets will rise and fall based on the markets, but we've increased the number of clients. We serve several multi-generational families.
Okay.
The parents hire us in the 80s. The kids get the money eventually. The kids know us, like us, and they hire us as well. So we've had clients for 30 plus years, which is great. And I think that says a lot about both our investment acumen as well as our wealth planning and the full service model we can provide.
You know what it also tells me is the culture of the company, because you're talking about generations of people, and right now we're seeing a lot of retirements happen, especially in Boise right now. The old guard is finishing up their time with their companies, and they're passing it over to their kids or their lieutenants, right? That relationship piece is so important. And I see it every single day, where if you just communicate with the head person, you're missing the boat. You've got to build relationships with the entire team of those organizations. And from what you're saying, it seems to me that Ferguson Wellman's mission and vision and culture of company is retaining your team as well.
Yeah, you are exactly right. When we're, meeting a prospective client or even a current client, we'll tell them that you will be working with me, for good or bad, for a long period of time. Or my colleagues, the view is, there are a lot of financial services firms where you see a lot of turnover. And, knock on wood, we have not seen that in our company. I think in the last 40 years, we've lost one individual, to a competitor. The rest on the professional side, we've only lost to retirement.
Wow.
So I think we have a great culture. Love coming to work. You spend more time with your colleagues than you do your family, for good or bad. And I'm fortunate enough to enjoy that.
Thank you, Jason. One of the things that I was really impressed by when I first met Laura Bernard's, I think it's with a firm that helps you guys with awareness and marketing and brand. She's incredible, by the way. Thanks to her for setting all this up. There's an annual report that Ferguson Wellman creates and provides its clients. And the first time I saw that, I think I was just, I don't know how it came across my desk, but I opened it up. I read the entire thing because I was so impressed about all the information. Help me share what's included in that annual report that Ferguson's been producing since 1997.
Yeah, so that is a great piece, and we actually spend a lot of time on it. We kind of see it's messaging to our clients to give them, update, what's going on. There's some business in there, our assets, but we like to really share our team. And there's a lot of focus on the employees at Ferguson Wellman, highlighting what they do, new employees, retiring, and then also share our clients. One of my favorite annual reports was we shared interesting stories of clients. I was fortunate enough to share one who I worked with in Idaho that started a trout farm down right outside of Twin Falls. And he shared his story, and we like to, we believe we have a great team. We like to, show that to you and to our clients, and there's always a theme about it. In COVID, when we couldn't get together, everyone took a picture of their favorite book, their reading list, and posted that in there. So
Cool.
they do a good job, and it's just not a bunch of dry investment stuff. There's a lot of great material in there.
I love that annual report, and I have your website scrolling on the bottom of the screen, and the last few are you can find them there through the website, but there's also other resources about their services and products, and including that annual report. Okay, so now tell us a little bit about 2024. What's the outlook, Jason?
So the outlook's really changed in the last couple of weeks, as we've seen from the markets. We going into 2023, we were a little more optimistic than the average economist, and we didn't think there would be a recession. We still believe there is not. We think the economy will slow. Rates are higher than they were, so things will slow just because credit's a little tighter. However, people are employed, they're making the most money they have in general, and they're spending it. 70% of the U.S. economy is the consumer. And as we know about the U.S. consumers, they like to spend money. And this will be the tailwind. But, if your credit card interest rate goes from 12 to 20, you may spend a little less. And so we're still optimistic about 2024, but stocks are up 25% so far this year. So we wouldn't expect that again next year. I'll just leave it at that.
Love it. Thanks for that little tidbit of info. You're the true litmus test on what the future holds. And I'm so excited to be able to speak with you today. Jason, thanks again for your membership with the Chamber. Thanks for your investment in Idaho. We really appreciate it. Is there anything else, while I have you, that you'd like to educate the public on?
No, I just like to close. Even though we're a Portland-based company, $8 billion under management, we manage over $300 million in the state of Idaho, and that's from Coeur d'Alene to Boise to Twin Falls up to Sun Valley. We are there all the time. Idaho is a very important market to us, so and it means a lot to me and my family, and so we value our relationships there. And finally, I'd just like to say, go Broncos. My daughter and I are going to go down to the game Saturday, and so we're excited. Hopefully, they can end on a positive note. So looking forward to that as well.
Well, hopefully it's the perfect storm, right? We love
exactly.
it. All right, Jason, next time you're in town, let's go get a drink. Thanks again for your time. Thanks again for your investment. Tell the team hello from us. And again, thanks to Laura. I know she's probably watching, for setting all this up.
Thank you, Paul. It's been great chatting with you.
Bye.
See you.